What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Break It Down, the show where we dissect songs, videos, projects, and talk directly to the artist and kind of get a peek behind the curtain, the process that what goes into um, making these songs. With us today is Quiz, engineer, producer, Own Lane Music, EMS affiliate, and musician extraordinaire. Quiz, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Works hard.
What you smoking on over there?
Right now I got some various purple punch, something purple, but I don't
Nice.
know if you could tell. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Congrats on the new podcast, Joe TV. I've been following up with that.
Thanks. For our listeners that may not know much about you, Quiz, why don't you give a little background how you became a musician, where you went to school?
Yeah. So I was deeply into piano and then guitar. Got into rock music and started playing in a bunch of bands. And I really loved Fishbone and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and that type of energetic type of music. And eventually, I was in a band. After I went to Berkeley, I was in a band called Viva La Hop, and that introduced me to Deshaun, Alexander, Balin, and Philly G. We kept making albums with them. We eventually crossed paths with M. Dot, which is how I met Online Music, and eventually got signed to their label and became a member of EMS, a producer. And I did a ton of music with M. Dot. I finished his Ego and the Enemy 1 and soon to be 2. I've done music with Rev, done music with Big Shug, Crumb Snatcha. Um, I just recently moved to New York and came out this last year with a full funk album, and the name of the group is Watermelon Funk. So, in a nutshell, that's how I got to where I am project wise. And my album, The Crib, came out in 2017, and that was between me and Philly G.
Yeah, the Crib. It's a dope album as well. So let's get into Watermelon Funk, and if you can break it down for us, let us know the different members in the group, how it came about, and just give us a little background on this project.
The Watermelon Funk project is a very exciting one. For funk music fans, we have really touched base with some of the funkiest people on every song. And if you love funk music, you'll notice every song stays funky. Like number one is funky, number two it keeps getting funkier, and by the end of the hour of music, it's just absolute pure funk music. The few guests we have are Rodney Skeet Curtis. He was George Clinton's bass player, P
Awesome.
Funk's bass player for like the 80s and some of the 90s. We also had my hero, Fish from Fishbone, Norwood, who's the bass player from Fishbone, one of the best black alternative rock bands of all time. Um, we also had Benzel Baltimore, who was George Clinton's drummer and who has drummed for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We had um, we had Jeff Lockhart on guitar, who's an incredible guitar player from Boston and New York City. He killed it. I highly recommend the songs. The one that he was on is a great tune, showcases his guitar playing. I did all the guitar for that album, other than the song that Jeff Lockhart was on. And we also had Kevin Goins from the band Quasar, which was a very a dope offshoot band of P Funk in 1978, and it comprised of Kevin Goins and his brother Glenn Goins, who was the lead singer for a lot of Parliament's best work. So we definitely tapped in with like older generations of funk and brought back a new funky sound in 2021 because not a lot of people have been doing it. And it also was inspired by the Corona uh, lockdown pandemic because uh, I was in Connecticut, I believe, uh, trying to figure out where my plans were taking me, either be it Boston or New York, and I was stuck in uh, Connecticut for a month. And during that time, every day I'd be calling Deshaun Alexander, and I'd be asking him what was up, checking in with him, and I'd be making beats. And it got more serious, and I sold him my MacBook. I shipped him my MacBook, and now he has like a really nice uh, 15-inch MacBook. So, and all my plugins. So um, he was able to mix and do all the music by himself, whereas before normally I would be um, helping out finish everything. So I put him in the driver's seat, and I would give him ideas. And before too long, I'd give him an idea. He'd send me something. I'd send him back, and we'd play tag. And eventually, we got around to having about 10 songs, and then we wished that we could work with other funk musicians that we admired and are close with, and they were on board. So we got our features, had about 14 songs recorded, mastered them, put the tracks in order, put everything together, and we came out with this album on April 19th, which was Bernie Worrell's birthday. Bernie Worrell is the keyboardist and synthesizer player in Parliament Funkadelic, who's a huge inspiration. So we dropped it on his birthday, and a lot of the music centers around the music of Parliament Funkadelic, Herbie Hancock, um, the Meters, um, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Fishbone, um, and even jazz, Miles Davis, um, and other really prolific artists. So we just tried to bring quality back to music and musicianship, and everything on there is nothing. Not too much was done on the computer. We did have like uh, maybe loop centered music, which is more modern, but for the most part, everything was just um, me and Deshaun letting loose, pressing record, and just you know feeding off each other's vibes. And we made a whole 53-minute tape, and it came out April 19th. So check out Watermelon Funk's self-titled first album on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever it is, and it will not let you down. It is very funky.
Yeah, that's what's up. So
Yeah.
Watermelon Funk is you and Deshaun.
It is me, Deshaun, and uh, when we did our first show, it was Joe Blacks on drums, who is the drummer for Bilal and uh, countless other people in the New York scene. But Joe Blacks, if you see us in the East Coast, it's either going to be Joe Blacks on drums, or it may be Benzel Baltimore on drums. But yeah, you could. It's safe to say Watermelon Funk is Deshaun and I. Um, when he is playing in Colorado, he will put together his band of musicians over there. So it's more like I would say like a collective rather than just like these are the members. Because Deshaun sometimes will play drums and record drums, and sometimes um, he will play bass or I will play bass or even other people will play guitar when he's playing in Colorado. He has guitar players in Colorado. I have yet to go over there, but in cannabis news, if anyone is in the Denver, Colorado area, we are playing the Bongathon, which is America's oldest 420 session. The
Nice.
Bongathon is in Colorado, and it's annual marijuana smoking pilgrimage, and it's going to be on the weekend of July 21st and uh, excuse me, the weekend of the 23rd and the 24th, I believe.
Okay.
Um, so that's going to be in July, and that is going to be a really cool show. It's going to be the first time, other than, as we know, Hemp Fest in Boston. It's going to be the first time I go to a really really dope um, cannabis event outside of Boston. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm definitely going to be talking to you and our other friend Brian, and sending them all the cool cannabis stuff I find, and I'm sure I'm going to find people taking huge barn rips and dabs.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, send them along. Turn that phone
Mhm.
sideways. Bryce,
Yep.
if we play a little clip for some of the people right now, what's a good track off Watermelon Funk?
Well, a good track off Watermelon Funk would be the song called "Bubbly," featuring Norwood Fisher. Um, that song, um, I grew close to Norwood because I was taking bass lessons from him, and he's such uh, a prolific figure in the alternative rock scene. I mean, he's played bass for Alice in Chains, Fishbone, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Um, he's basically up there with my idols, and I've seen him live quite a few times. And he said he would be down to do a song, and he did, and I couldn't believe it. But we had him play on that song, and he put his funky touch on it, and it will kind of put you in the right mind state and mood for what you're about to, what you're about to hear on that first album. That's a good first, um, I guess, step into the pool, if you will, on that album.
Nice. The song's called Bubbly, featuring Norwood Fisher. And here's a
Yep.
clip of it right now. Awesome. Great work, Quiz. Let everyone know where they can find out more about you.
You can find out about me under two Instagram accounts. I have an account with Watermelon Funk at Watermelon Funk, and then my personal account, which I believe is BQUIZ_. So BQuiz_.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. At bquiz_ on Instagram and Watermelon Funk. Awesome job, man. The album, definitely check it out. And Quiz, thanks for being with us today. Thanks for breaking it down, and appreciate everybody tuning in. That's it. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Break It Down. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast. If there's a song or video you want us to break down with an artist, hit us up on social media at Own Lane Music, or hit the artist up directly and mention our show, Break It Down, and maybe we can talk to him. That's it. Be great, everyone.